Welcome to another inspiring episode of Geni's Way. Today, we're thrilled to feature the incredible Sue Brooke. She's a dynamic speaker, author, and relationship marketing strategist who leads entrepreneurs to discover the full potential of their connections to grow their businesses and lives. Known for her passion in storytelling, Sue shares how to build meaningful relationships that lead to real success. Whether you are looking to expand your network or want a slightly different marketing approach, this episode is packed with actionable tips you will not want to miss. Let's get started.
All right, what a treat, Sue Brooke. I want to welcome everybody on Geni's Way. Sue is on the road for helping small business through alignable networking. Sue is a networking relationship guru, business consultant and coach, speaker and author. What a pleasure. I'm so happy to be able to catch you when you in Raleigh, North Carolina. What a treat. I can't wait for this conversation.
Great. I'm excited to be here.
Sue, here's everybody's $1 million question. Okay, so I want to start a business, maybe 2020, end of 2024, maybe beginning 2025. The complexity of this world is incredible. Now, how will we go about building the brand with a new company? What steps would you take?
You know, it's all about building relationships. And my story, I've owned many businesses since I was 22 years old. And I built all of those businesses after some tragedies in my life. The first one, I was only 22. I knew nothing about marketing or anything. And I had, the story is I went to school to be an elementary school teacher. Oh, wow. And then I got out of college and I started working at Fred Astaire Dance Studio. And that was my first introduction to business. I was going to be a teacher. So I saw that a lot of people spend a lot of money on dancing. So one of the other dance instructors and I got together and we went back to my college town and opened my first business, got the doors open of my beautiful studio and said, we need customers. What are we going to do? And that was and we had no money for marketing. So it's all about building relationships and networking.
Are you saying build and they don't come?
Yeah, exactly. They don't come unless you tell them about it. Exactly. But it's so many people spend a lot of money on marketing and advertising. And they should be out there building relationships and networking.
I think later in the business, once they start the growing business, it could work in addition, but you can't count on one source of marketing, especially nowadays.
That's right.
Because there's so many messages everywhere.
That's right.
But building relationship is always fun. You get to connect the people, you get to experience and being in the moment with them. Sue, but it's easier said than done. However, what if you come to networking event? So let's kind of listen and kind of think about it. So I'm walking in the room. I don't know anybody. I see 100 people talking with each other, having a good time. How do I even walk in that room?
I love that. So the second business I own, just to let you know, I am an introvert. So I actually teach.
What?
I teach.
Are you
I am.
What?
And so I actually teach introverts. So I have a whole training on networking for introverts. So so my second business was, my claim to fame really was a business that I owned. It was a tutoring business. It was an after school program. It was a huge learning center. I had 2 locations in Southern California. I was really, really, really busy business owner. And, but before that, I started that business, putting one ad in the paper, and I got one client.
Whoa! One client!
Yes. And that one client, I took such good care of that family. It was a little first grader. Their family told everybody, who told everybody, who told everybody. And that's how my business grew into such a great thing. So anyway, getting back to what your question was, so I sold the business in 2015. In 2017, I found out I had a sister on Ancestry. And I moved to Northern California, and I didn't know anyone. I'm starting a brand new business just to help entrepreneurs. That's when I started doing business coaching, consulting, and marketing, and all kinds of things. So I move up there. I don't know anybody, and I'm an introvert.
Oh, boy. Here it comes.
So I learned something very good. So I started doing this. Would go into the big room like you were talking about.
Yeah, big room.
And
it's terrifying, isn't it?
it is, but here's the thing. You can spot other introverts a mile away. Where are the introverts?
Here comes the secret sauce. Okay.
Yes. Sitting in a corner, they're standing on the edge of the room looking at their phone, or they're sitting out in the lobby in a chair. So those are the people that I would go talk to. So look around the room, find the other introverts, and go up and say something like, oh my gosh, I love your shirt, or what brings you here today? And it's something to start a conversation with them. And that's the easiest way to do that. They become sometimes a customer, but more importantly, your best referral partner.
Referral partners.
Yes.
When I had that conversation with Martin, we both know Martin very well.
Yeah.
One of the things he was amplified that you don't go necessarily to networking to sell.
No.
You go to make friends and referral partners. I think people forget that. And then I'm so happy you said just start the conversation with anything. I love your shirt. I love your smile. Sometimes I would say, you're looking bored, or you're looking sad, or can we start the conversation? Let's just talk. And you just anything. I think people think it have to be business related, but does it have to be a business related conversation?
No, and it shouldn't. Actually, it should be personal. What brought you here? And if they say something about business, how did you get started? Try to focus on building the relationships and finding some sort of commonality. It's the same way when you're networking online. So Alignable, for example, has speed networking events. You go in a room.
Ooh, dating sounds like dating.
Yeah. So you have a chance to go in a room, and you're beamed into a room with someone that you've never met before. And don't start out going, tell me about your business. You should really hire me because I'm so awesome. And don't get into that. Say, where are you from? Tell me about your family. What's your story? How did you get here? Something along those lines. And find a commonality between each other that doesn't have to do with business.
That's brilliant.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah, you want to be curious and interested in the person you're talking to, and bringing that business is not necessary because they all know why you're there.
That's right. Yes, yeah, exactly.
So, Sue, we all have triumphs and tribulations and failures. And I'm sure you have more than one, maybe.
A few.
A few. Yeah. So, which one of the failures do you think you learned the most? Can you kind of tell us, what did you actually learn? How did experience feel? And how can listeners learn from that with you?
I think it's important for people to have failures. I've had many of them in my life. The biggest one, I literally just not that long ago got brave enough to start telling my story. But I built my tutoring business into quite a great organization. It was a 5,000 square foot learning center in Santa Clarita, California. I had a tutoring business in San Diego. I was very proud of myself. I built that with no money in the bank, no marketing money, building relationships, networking. And when I sold the business in 2015, what happened was a woman said that it was her dream to own a business like mine. And so I quickly...
And of course, Sue, dreams come true.
Yes. Well, I quickly sold it to her, but I made a lot of mistakes. I didn't do all the things you want to do, getting a business broker, that kind of thing. So I sold the business to her, and I financed her personally, and she gave me a down payment.
Owner finances.
Yeah. So she gave me a down payment, and she ended up running the business into the ground right away.
Oh, no.
And I lost everything at 54 years old. So I literally everything.
How did you feel?
Well, it was I was in a bad place, I'm not going to lie. And that's right before I met my sister on Ancestry, and I moved to that new location. So I'm up there. And I'm trying to get a new business started. As an introvert too, that whole thing. But I was in a really, really dark place in my life. And what I realized was this. This is the biggest takeaway, is when you are in that scarcity thing, and everybody goes through it. Everyone's been there where I need money and everything I'm going to do is about making money. It would make money for a little bit, but it never sustained until I looked in the mirror and I said, you know what? My purpose is to help and inspire other business owners and help as many people as I can. And I'm just going to focus on my purpose and my passion, and I'm not going to worry about money. And the second I did that, everything started happening for me. And now I'm living my dream that I literally wrote in my journal when I had zero money in the bank. I'm 54. I am in a bad place. And I'm writing in my journal. I am traveling across the country in my beautiful motorhome that I paid cash for. I'm inspiring millions of small business owners all over the country. And I thought it was ridiculous when I wrote it. And I'm doing exactly that. And I did, it all happened magically.
Wow.
Magically.
When you let go of that need, that resistance, you're not bringing the resistance. You allow the energy universe and set up in such a way that it just flows to you. Yeah. And the interesting thing is that I keep hearing the same over and over again. When you allow your passion and the purpose guide your plan and trust in yourself and trust the universe that will bring you everything you ever wanted and allow that to come to you, it happens. Magic. Always. It's like you allowing magic to happen.
That's right. And you know, it's so much that's happened to me like this. Anytime something happens to me that is like a really crappy thing, like something really bad happens, like that story. I've had other stories similar.
Oh no, sure.
Yeah, very similar.
Really?
But every one of them turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me.
Incredible. You know, I get to hear that over and over again too.
So
it's
true.
like whatever seems to be at surface, no matter how bad it appears in that given moment, if you can feel it and let it go and know there is that other thing, something greater on the other end of that, you will feel so much better. You will allow that come to you instead of, you know, I'm not saying that some things are terrible. It could be, but you still need to feel like, okay, take a deep breath, feel it, and just let it go. Journal. One of the things I learned from one of my guests, actually, I did the interview yesterday, that he's a spiritual coach and health coach and learned and read so many books. I have so many different coaches. He recommends journaling. Have you done
100%.
anything like this in your life? What are your routines that help you get through your setbacks?
Yeah, just like what I was telling you, I started journaling actually a little bit before all of the stuff happened that I just told you about. But when every day I would write, I am, as if it was already happening. And I learned, by the way, another big tip, read as many books as you can.
Yes.
As many books as you can. And inspirational books, personal development books, business books, marketing books. But I learned that I am are the two most important words. So when I would write, I am traveling across the country in my beautiful motorhome, all of the things that I'm doing now, but I wrote it, I did not believe in my head that I was going to be able to do that. I didn't have money to buy a motorhome for cash. It's like, how am I possibly going to do this? But you have to journal. You have to write it. Every single day I would write it. And I found that first time that I wrote it the other day. I went back and found it.
And you said, oh my God.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's magic.
Do you know, and do you all know that this is exactly what I keep hearing over and over and over again? I interview already, believe it or not, in less than a year, 50 people. And that's the same thing I hear over and over and over again. You have to start, even when you don't quite there yet, you don't believe it yet, but after you keep writing, I am, but you have to write it, and eventually you will believe it. And once you believe that you are, who are you meant to be, who you were brought to this world by the universe, and you have a message.
That's right. Absolutely. 100%.
You have a message and a mission. You may not always know that, but that's where you go out there and look for it. You experience things that you would be scared, but that when you're scared, it helps you grow, it challenges you, it expands you. And the more you learn what you like and what you don't like, you just figure, oh, maybe that's what I meant to do. Maybe that's who I was supposed to help.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I have a really good friend who just turned 80 years old.
Oh my.
She is a serial entrepreneur. She's done many types of businesses, but I've been friends with her for a long time. And she didn't have a great life growing up. Later in life, she became an alcoholic. She had to get over that. She's been sober for many years. But all these years that I would talk to her, she would bring up the past, like, oh, my dad this, my mom this, nothing ever happened, nothing ever good happens for me, none of my businesses, they all fail. And it was such a negative thing, and going back in time, and that's the other thing, you can't go back in time. And when you can change your brain, and when you go back in time and you look at all of those things, like I was saying, a lot of terrible things happened to me in my life. But every one of those I learned something from, and now it turned out to be the best thing. Just recently, she started listening to like Dr. Joe Dispenza is a great guy to listen to on brains.
Talk about him yesterday in my interview. Yes, it's a continued. Those interesting pattern is like how we can empower ourselves, and by empowering ourselves and working on ourselves, we can empower people around and shine the lights on people around.
Absolutely, and you can change your brain. You can rewire it. And just recently, finally, she used to really, say, oh, I don't have time to read those books, and I don't have time to do that. But nothing was happening until recently. She started really watching her words. Instead of saying, I can't do that, you change it to, I can do that. You change your words. And when you say, well, someday I'm going to do this. No, you're doing it now. All of those things are true. It's
How about that, huh? Magic.
It is.
So
that's what I call it.
So if you can remember one thing, what would that be? One thing you want to be remembered by?
Oh my gosh. I just want people to take what I teach and all my lessons and all of my stories, and I want people to be inspired to live their passion and their purpose. And when you figure that out, when you decide what your purpose and your passion is in your life, and you put those together and you just go for it, you just do it. You don't try to figure out how you're going to do it, because it will never. The way I got to live my dream of traveling across the country in my motorhome and meeting and talking to and helping so many people is I didn't focus on how I was going to get there, because the way it happened, I would have never, ever in a million years been able to figure it out. I would have never guessed. So you got to stop that. That's a huge one.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought it up. You don't need to worry about how. The past will reveal on its past, but you don't know what the next step will be, just taking one step at a time. What if you learn something and the next step is something that you never thought even before to do? Then it's just going to change that past.
It does. I mean, look at the pandemic when that happened, and look at that's when I really started looking at people and going, okay, everybody had a choice. They had a choice to get stuck and just stop and just completely stop what they were doing. Then I watched the people that went, ooh, let's take this as an opportunity. And the people that went, ooh, this is an opportunity to pivot a little bit and change something, either add something to their business, change something, go a different direction. Those are the people that are massively successful right now.
Remember the story Tony Robbins says, like, he had all those stadium booked and all of that, and he broke the record of Zoom. He empowering more people now
Amazing.
online.
Yeah.
So that's the power of pivot. That's another underlying theme. They keep going on and on, that power of pivot.
Absolutely.
No matter what's going on, if you're not being negative, say, oh, I can't do it, oh, why did that happen? You figure out a way.
Yes.
You change, you adapt, you pivot. And that's that brings me to the next great question, which I'm sure you have excellent answer. What are the characteristic personality traits for people that you see succeeding in business and life?
Oh, it can be anybody. I don't think there's one specific one at all.
Can anybody succeed as a business person? What do they need to do? Just decide that's what they want to do?
You have to make a decision.
Oh, is it really that simple?
It's that simple.
Oh, wow. And what do they need to do? They need to have determination, charisma, introvert.
You just it doesn't matter who it is. Anyone can do it.
Oh,
and
really?
you just have to make a decision. You've got to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you are. You have to learn. You have to read a lot of books, and just be around people, mastermind with people, get other people that are on the same path as you, and help each other. And don't do it alone.
Yeah.
There you go.
And spread the love and joy all over the world.
That's right.
Like Sue's doing. She's spreading the love all over the country and helping small business owners to grow and learn. And is there anything else that I didn't ask you that you think you would want listeners to know and learn from this conversation? Your keys, takeaways, whatever you want to add.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just if you have something that you've been dreaming about, if you wake up in the morning and you just have this passion for something, and you just know in your soul and your heart that is what you're supposed to do, that's what you're on this earth for, you should do that. And don't let anything stop you. That's just what it is. Life is short. I will tell you that in 2006, I believe it was, I had just gone through a very, very bad divorce, and I was in a very negative place in my life. And everything I was doing, I was really going to the negative and blaming a lot of things at people in my life. And I got hit by a truck, literally. I was in my little Volkswagen Beetle, and a Ford F-250 truck came into me in my driver's side, T-boned me, and I was pulled out. But I'm not supposed to be here today. I was pulled out with the jaws of life. I have titanium. That was a year of recovery, and you know what? I remember thinking that I didn't have any friends, that my life was terrible, and all these things. And I remember opening my eyes in the hospital room, and there were all these people in this room that were there because they cared about me.
Oh.
And that was when I went, okay, I'm here for a reason. I'm still here, nothing happened to me, and I had to figure, that is the start of, I always say, I got hit by a truck, and that changed my life. So.
Oh my God. Yeah. But one of the other things that Joe Dispenza asked that question, very direct. He's like, why do we have to wait for that moment? We can change. We can decide to change.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so we appreciate your wisdom and experience. And in my summary, I would say it's never too late. You're never too old, too young, too big, too small, whatever you're telling yourself, whatever that limiting belief is. Ask for help. If you don't know how, the resources are there. You can reach out to Sue, reach out to me, any other coaches and consultant, as long as you know what your purpose and passion, and we can even help you with that, right, Sue?
That's right. Cool.
It is so amazing to have a conversation with you. I love it.
Much.
I love it.
Awesome.
And that concludes our interview for the day.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode with the brilliant Sue Brook. She's given us so much valuable insight on building a strong network of loyal, trusted partners and customers. From transforming everyday contacts into lasting relationships to creating powerful referral partnerships, Sue's strategies are game changers. Thank you for tuning into Geni's Way, where we inspire, empower, and guide you to embrace your unique superpower. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone ready to unlock their networking potential. Keep shining and making your own way. Until next time, see you.